Coming up on the forum, more than 40 children in Norfolk's foster care are waiting to join a permanent family. Will yours be one of them? The holidays can be tough for a child in foster care. Find out how you can brighten their day. Plus, an open house for those of you interested in becoming a volunteer tax preparer. Human Services Forum begins right now.
Adopted because it's such a nice family and everyone loves you in the family. I love the Corbins because they're so nice and they give us enough food and water because a long time ago we never used to have food or water. We had to go hunt for it somewhere if we could find any. So the Corbins are good people to us because we have our needs. And I love to color and draw because it's fascinating. It's cool. And I just think the Corbins are really good because we just get all of our needs and then we get a lot of love and care.
Shaylee Corbin shares her feelings about adoption last year in a Norfolk courtroom packed with families celebrating the gift of being chosen. That's an experience that 26 or more children in Norfolk will be sharing this year, November 27th, for Adoption Day. Welcome to the Forum. I'm Jan Callahan. More than 5,300 children are waiting for permanent loving homes in Virginia. 40 of those children live in Norfolk. And in November, the Department of Human Services is making sure the public knows about it. Please welcome Nancy Brock, who is Resource Development Coordinator and Foster Adoptive Care and Parenting, and Latoya Wilburn, who is an adoption social worker. The two of them both work with foster and adoptive parents in making sure that children in our foster care system are provided with loving homes and in some case loving permanent homes. Welcome to the show. November is Adoption Month across the country. The Norfolk Department of Human Services, though, is really stepping up and conducting a number of events that are going to call the public's attention to the cause. And we do have children who are waiting for, they are legally freed and are waiting for adoptive homes, but it's just not any adoptive home. Is that correct, Latoya?
That is correct.
Yeah. So you have 40 children, which is, may not seem like a lot out of 5,000 or so, but it's 40 human beings, and they're different ages, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. What kind of age range are we talking about?
They range anywhere between 3 months to 18 years.
Wow. So we have teenagers in that group as well as kids and toddlers and infants. Okay, so a wide variety. And for people who might be interested in adoption, stay tuned because this is going to give you a lot of information about how you can find out more about it, becoming a certified parent, and perhaps even adopting a child. We've got a number of events going on. One of them is a conference that starts at the beginning of the month, and that is for professionals only, correct?
Yes, November the 8th, the Norfolk Department of Human Services will be hosting their first ever adoption conference at the Crown Plaza, at Norfolk Plaza, formerly known as Crown Plaza. There will be many professionals from across the state of Virginia coming to talk about diversity in adoption. So it's going to be very exciting.
Okay, so we have social work professionals, community partners, and people from across the state that are all going to be in workshops, seminars, and they'll have speakers. It's a big event and an all-day one, which is a big deal. And it's a great way to kick off the month to spread the word about adoption, not only in the professional world, but also to the public. The mayor of Norfolk is also going to be doing something.
Yes, on November the 13th, the mayor of Norfolk will be reading a proclamation for adoption. So that's going to be pretty cool.
All right, he does that in front of City Council and in front of the public, and will be on TV 48 as well during the regular council session taping. to proclaim November as Adoption Awareness Month in Norfolk. And that leads us towards later in the month, which is when you saw the video earlier of the young lady who was speaking. She is one of our children who did become adopted along with her siblings last year for a big celebration in the court.
Yes, on November the 27th at Circuit Court, there will be an adoption conference to celebrate all of the adoptions that have been finalized this year.
Okay, and how many do we have finalized? Do we know?
Off the top of my head, I'm going to say close to 30 adoptions have been finalized, so that is extremely exciting to help children find permanency.
All right. That's a larger number than usual. Also, the celebration, which takes place every year, is become so large that they've moved it from the Juvenile and Domestic Relations District courtroom to the Circuit Court to make room for everybody, and also to have a big celebration afterwards. So we have a lot of support in the community for this.
Yes, there's a lot of individuals that will be supporting Norfolk Department of Human Services with the goal that we have reached with helping children receive permanency. I know that the Norfolk Police Department is one of the individuals, one of the sites that will be assisting with sponsoring this event.
Okay, and the Sheriff's Office too, I believe, gets involved with teddy bears, and they've been doing that for a number of years. And the children who are celebrating the finalization of adoption, and of course the families are all there to celebrate, those who want to attend, and most of them do. One of the things I found interesting in past celebrations is that although there are families where one child has been adopted and they celebrate, there are many that have several children who are also becoming a part of a permanent family all at once, and they're generally brothers and sisters.
Yes.
Right? So do we see that happening this year as well?
Yes, there have definitely been adoptions where siblings have been adopted and there's more than one sibling. So that is really exciting to be able to keep the family together.
Yeah. It's a lovely ceremonial occasion, and Judge, the Honorable William P. Williams presides over the court, and he loves doing this, and he was who you saw on the videotape earlier as well. So he always has a great time with it, and it really is a great time to celebrate. And Nancy, as someone who has been in the business of recruiting people to become foster/adoptive parents, this is a culmination of a lot of hard work, certainly on the part of the parents, but on the part of you and your staff.
Exactly. Yeah. This is a very exciting time, because what we need, our major goal with children who come into foster care, is that they will achieve early permanence. And their priority goals. But if the children cannot go back to their parents or the family to which they were born, then they need another family. And that is the exciting part, because adoption means permanence for these children.
And that permanence, it's more than just permanence, it's the loving, caring environment that nurtures them.
Exactly.
And something that they may have not had for some time in an unstable environment. But also just to point out that, our foster children, the first goal is to return them to their biological parents if at all possible. But that doesn't always happen. And I know the judge says one of the most difficult things to do is to terminate a parent's rights. And so they do not take that decision lightly. However, the option is still positive. And that's where you come in, not only as training foster parents, but also people who may be on the road to adopting a child. And that is a process that isn't taken lightly. It's certainly a large commitment, but one that requires training.
It does, indeed. And the training that we provide is for both foster parents and adoptive parents. Because children come into foster care, our priority is on training people who will be foster parents. But if the children in their homes cannot go back to their parents or extended kin, then they need another home. And most children who are adopted from foster care are adopted by their foster parents, which is a very logical thing, which means that the child who comes in and can't go home will not have to go someplace else. They can stay in that home. And that's one of the things that we're really hoping, is that children will not be bounced around from place to place.
Okay,
that's not good for anybody.
No, it isn't. I mean, you can just put yourself in that place and realize that having somebody you can count on, a place you can call home, You need your comfort zone, and you need to feel safe, and that's what this is all about. It's a tremendous amount of work, though. Being a parent is a tremendous amount of work, but
That's
when
right.
you're bringing a child in who has experienced some trauma in the past, which is a common situation and circumstance with children who come into foster care, you have to have the skills to address special
That's exactly
needs.
right. That's exactly right. And the skills that we teach in this class are not general parenting skills. They're the skills, the knowledge that you need to work with a child who has had to be separated from their parent and their family, what they know. And that is, for most children, a traumatic event. For most adults who have to be separated from their families, that's traumatic. But for children who don't have the skills of coping with the world, it is particularly difficult. And that's what we're teaching our prospective foster and adoptive parents in the training that we provide. And we do need more parents to take on that role, because some of these families are adopting children, they complete their families, and then they drop out. So we need more folks to come in and take their place.
Okay, so there's always a need, and there is an information session that the
is.
department offers. And when is the next information session? It'll be in 2013.
It will, January the 12th. These are Saturday morning programs. The information session is to understand, and I would encourage people to give me a call so that we can talk about, I can talk about the process and what they need to know. And then the first class begins the next Saturday morning on the 19th.
Okay, and those classes last for how long?
There are 9 classes of 3 hours each, in addition to the information session. So we'll finish up in March.
Okay. And then you are certified. There are a lot of steps to go through, and then of course there is bringing on a child for the first time, and that's an experience that you just have to have in order to move forward. But in some cases, the child is either returned home, which can be a very, very good thing for the child. In other cases, that child will end up being adopted, which, Latoya, is all part of the celebration that's going to take place later in November. It's always a wonderful event, and it's always filled with a lot of joy. It's everything you would expect it to be,
It is indeed.
even if you're not on the inside looking out, but a very, very positive experience.
And I have to say, it's positive for the families, it's positive for the judge, as you said, and for us social workers, it is positive for us too, because that is the desired outcome, is that these children have a permanent family.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thanks so much for joining us. And we will be back in just a minute with some details about an annual holiday project that can brighten the season during the holidays for Norfolk's foster kids. And they can do it with your help, so don't go away.
Oh, sweetheart. Can I give you a hand?
No thanks, Dad. I got it.
Okay. I'm gonna go fix the lamp in your room.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
Every year, the Norfolk Department of Human Services invites the local community to help make the holiday wishes of more than 200 children and youth in our foster care system come true. We have Lynn Parker, a social work supervisor, joining us to give us details on the holiday project for foster children. Thanks, Lynn, for joining us for the show. This is an annual project that's been going on for a number of years.
Yes. For a number of years. Once I did some research, it appears that it dated back to 2003.
Okay, so almost 10 years then that
Yes.
this has been going on, and every year people are very generous in what we call giving back to the community.
Yes.
The holiday project itself is really a way to fatten up the holidays for some of the children, because there are a lot of difficult things that children go through in foster care anyway, but during the holidays can be particularly difficult.
Very much so, because they're not with their parents whom they still love.
Yeah. So the presents or the gift cards or what have you are part of cheering them up a little bit. And one of the nice things about the program is that the public can get involved in a way that they couldn't normally, because there are certainly confidentiality issues and such with our foster children, and it's not always easy to be able to know who the child is. However, there is a way to find out what the child might wish for come the holidays.
Yes, 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 yes. We send out a letter throughout the city of Norfolk, or at least an email throughout the city of Norfolk, for anyone who wishes to participate, and they will not know the child's name, but a number will be assigned. They will have an opportunity to either donate via cash or check or a gift card or even gifts. And they should get a list from each child requesting or asking for at least 3 gifts. And sometimes the kids get them all, sometimes they may not get them all, but we try to make sure that they get everything that they're asking for.
Wow. So the wish list, as it were,
Yes.
for a child in foster care can be, well, probably if they had it their way, it could be quite extensive.
It could be, very
But
much
there are
so.
generally at least 2 or 3 items on that wish list that they try to honor. And
Yes.
people do help out, and we'd love for you to participate. The number, or rather the address and phone number on the screen, will send you there. You can mail a check or your gift card to the Department of Human Services. This is attention Gary Cofield, who is our program manager for this area, at 741 Monticello Avenue in Norfolk, 23510. Or you can call Miss Bethea Roby at 664-6005, and she will be happy to take your call and answer your questions about the holiday project for foster children. The wish lists, I guess, vary, and they're mostly for the kids, not so much the teens. Lynn, is that correct?
The wish list is for the children. We, under age 15, we try to provide the children who are ages 15 and up with a gift card.
Oh, man, I can't imagine why.
Well, because their needs are so varied.
Yeah. And they're teens, too. I guess that, they want to get what they want to get.
They want to get what they want to get, and so at least a gift card could help them get to where they want to get, and hopefully they're getting something from the parents and other family members, because there are still a lot of family members involved.
Sure.
So we're just trying to normalize their Christmas as much as possible by getting those gifts from the community.
Okay, and that's a really, really nice thing to do. That again, you could mail them or purchase a gift card yourself.
Yes.
For a teen, or you can certainly send a monetary donation, and that would go toward the purchase of gift cards, depending on the need, or it could go, if your wish is to fulfill a child's wish list.
That's correct.
So you have a specific age group, or you look to to satisfy something that you've always wanted to do. This is your chance to do it, and you can either purchase the gift and then drop it off, which, by calling the number that we put up on the screen, you can find out more about that. This is also open to businesses who have been supportive over the years, too.
That's correct. It's open to businesses and anyone in the public. We've received gifts from many churches, from the community at large, and of course from businesses, and from some of our private providers. And so we're hoping that everyone will get into the Christmas spirit and they'll just give back to the community.
Okay, and I guess would like to see people do this by what time would you say would be a good deadline?
We're hoping that we receive all of the gifts or the donations by at least the end of November.
Okay.
And hopefully no later than mid-December, because we still may have to pick up some gift items, and we know that the stores get empty pretty fast. So.
Yes, they do, and the social workers do a lot of running around at the
They
last
do.
minute, so the earlier
Yes.
they can get it, the better. Lynn, thank
Yes.
you for sharing that. I wanted to share one other thing that we didn't have a chance to show a little earlier, and we do have our children in foster care. We were talking earlier about children in foster care who may be actually on the road to adoption or may be available for it, and we do have a T-shirt that this is going to be worn by our social workers in the next few days, and starting this week.
Friday.
And you may see it on occasion. If you see a Department of Human Services staff member wearing this T-shirt, ask them about adoption. We want to hear from you. We want people to ask and find out more, because we can always use foster and adoptive parents
That's
for our
correct.
children who are in need of loving and stable environments. Lynn, thanks for joining us. Great project as always. Another 10 years, we hope.
Thank you.
All right, and we're going to be right back to talk to the folks behind the Volunteer Income Tax Program so you can find out how to get involved. Don't go away. Do you prepare income tax returns for your friends and family because you like to? The Volunteer Income Tax Program, known as VITA, is looking for people just like you. And joining me are Bonnie Taswell, who's Financial Stability Manager with United Way of Southampton Roads. We have Linda Johnson, who is the Employment Network Coordinator for the Independence Center. And we have Willard, who has been with us for, for a year or so with the Southampton Roads Earned Income Tax Credit Coalition and works with United Way as well. And we are pleased to have all three of you here. We'll have a lot to cover in a short period of time. But Bonnie, working with the group of community service providers who provide volunteers to prepare for free tax returns for lower income individuals and families. That is all due to volunteers, and we have an open house that is coming up.
Sure.
Certainly, so people can find out more about it without making that big commitment first.
Okay. Yes, we will be conducting an open house on December the 3rd in the Greenbrier area, and one of our community partners, Wells Fargo, will be hosting the location. Volunteers, we need volunteers as tax preparers, screeners to make sure that folk have what they need in preparation for their taxes. We need quality reviewers, individuals that have a background in tax preparation. And we have a host of volunteers that assist in a variety of things, such as answering the telephone to schedule appointments. And we're looking for individuals that are interested in helping during the tax season, which will be from January to April 15th.
Oh yes, the famous April 15th deadline. Willard, you have been involved with helping coordinate the volunteers, whether they are on what they call roving sites where they come to you, or the stationary sites too. Becoming a volunteer is not just a matter of showing up at an open house and saying that's what I want to do, so then you're it. It involves training.
Yes, most definitely. The IRS has a structured training program where a person has to be certified to do the taxing with a testing process. So they have to prove by testing that they're able to do the taxes at various stages, and depending on the difficulty of the person that they're working with, they have to be certified for those difficult levels before they can service that client. We make sure that a person who has a difficult tax return gets a person who is more experienced and more seasoned in doing them. We won't give a brand new person to a person who has a big laundry list of things to do. So we make sure we match the person with the proper client.
Okay. In the case of the coalition that promotes the Earned Income Tax Credit, that would be an area that would target lower to middle income taxpayers who may benefit from either a larger refund or a smaller tax liability in all. And that is really the whole gist of getting the word out for volunteers. Linda, as a representative with the Independence Center, you are here as a voice for folks, the persons who are disabled in the community, and there is definitely a need for free tax preparation assistance that it be provided by these volunteers to the community.
Definitely. A lot of folks don't know that they need to file taxes if they're working. They don't think they earn enough. So it's good that we can give them the information to go and talk to the folks here with VITA to get their taxes prepared for free, because some folks may be filing taxes for the very first time if they've started working recently.
Okay. Particularly if it's their first job.
Exactly. Exactly. If someone's getting benefits from Social Security, they may start working and not know that, you know, they have to file taxes or never filed taxes before, and they don't know where to go. So it's great that they have this option for free tax preparation.
Yes, and that again will start in January. The IRS is yet to announce exactly when those returns will be accepted, but it should be in the latter part of January and run through April 15th. So with our persons with disabilities, we have certainly a population of people that can benefit greatly, not only from perhaps an EITC or an earned income tax credit, but other credits they may not be aware of that they're qualified for.
Right.
This is where the Independence Center can come in as a great help for people to provide them with the resources they need, and hopefully in association with the Southampton Roads EITC Coalition, we can spread the word even more. But it has to first start with the volunteers.
Yes.
Cannot do it without the volunteers, because they are the ones who really are the heart and soul of this program. So volunteers can show up for this open house, and it's offered on a couple of times. Is that right?
Yes, we are going to offer 2 opportunities for volunteers. The first session will run from 4 to about 5:30, and our second option will be from 6 to about 7:30. On the afternoon of the event. They can call United Way, or they can call our coalition telephone number to register.
They can call me too. The phone number that you see on the screen right now is my direct line, and I can certainly direct you to whomever it is you need to talk to as well. And note that it is in Chesapeake at a training center, Wells Fargo, who have generously offered to provide that space. Light refreshments and lots of good information, and maybe a chance to do a little hands-on with the online training, which is an important aspect of this as well.
All of the testing is online. Various cases where we have extenuating circumstances where we do not have computer connection, we can do manual testing. But the training is online and sometimes face-to-face training. So depending on the needs of the preparer, we have training tailored to those persons.
All right, terrific. Well, thank you for filling us in on that. Short amount of time, a lot of information, but remember December 3rd from 4 to 5:30 or 6 to 7:30, the Wells Fargo Training Center in Chesapeake, for people who might be interested in volunteering as a tax preparer during the upcoming tax filing season. We'd love to hear from you, so give us a call. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next time. Bye.